Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Hopefully you guys are having a great week. So far we've had some interesting movements. The markets have kind of been all over the place and they're starting to turn south once again. You can see the Dow is down, closed 130 points down just about today. S&P down a bit. Everything's pretty much down. We're having a bit of a down day. We've had some down news. Equities are getting hit. Dollar, of course, getting getting a little spark of rally. Coming up here in just about a little less than 3 hours, we have Australian employment numbers. This is going to be a big mover, something to keep an eye on. These announcements always get the markets moving. Coming into tonight and tomorrow, we have trade balance for Canada and U.S. This is usually a pretty decent mover, and then we have unemployment claims as well. So keep an eye on this, and as always, we'll be live in the chat for that news. Okay, so here we have the euro dollar, which has made several honest attempts today at 12900, and so far not happening. Definitely not happening. It keeps making that attempt. Daily pivot here, 129.10, 12900 resistance. It's not making the run. So what we have to do is decide what the next leg of action is going to potentially be. And I've got a couple of ideas of some things that I'm looking at here. First of all, we almost had a really nice reversal candle right here, but then we ended up getting a negative close right on this trend line. That would have been a great little spot for this to turn and start heading back up. But we got some more negative news, and down the markets come even further. So what we've got now is a potential of the euro once again reaching 127.50 area. This is our 38% fib. 127.40.50 is what we're still looking to have the market reach here, and I think we just might actually get there. You can see these double tops on this 4-hour chart, 2 attempts right here, just not able to do it. We have a lot of support right around 12800, a lot of support. And I still think we have an opportunity to buy off of this, but we're going to have to kind of see where the market goes. So the euro dollar is in a little bit of limbo right now. It's below the daily pivot, it's making a run, it's doing a couple of things, but it's a little bit of a wait and see. So at this point, I like the possibility of a buy off 12800, but I also like the chance of still heading into 127.50. So these are going to be two things to keep our eyes on as the markets continue to move and scoot. So that is one thing. Another thing here is we're looking at the pound dollar. Pound dollar has failed off 160.35 a couple of times here, and most recently right here. You can see that we've got a nice little reversal candle on this 4-hour chart, which is telling me that we're probably going to see a bit of a rundown on this pound dollar. So we've got a little bit of a short-term trend line that's kind of starting to break, and some just overall downward pressure. So I'm looking for this to continue, and I think the pound dollar has got a very, very good chance of still reaching 159.10, which is also the 38% fib, which is also pretty decent support right here. So I'm looking for that to happen. As long as the pound dollar stays below 160.35, then we've got that chance for 159.10. So let's look for that as the target. I think it's good to get into right now, just at this break of 160. I think it's a good area to start shorting this down into that 159.10 area. Now, euro yen has kind of been all over the map. The euro yen is up and down and all over the place, but likewise we have a nice little reversal candle on this euro yen. 200-day moving average is pretty good support. That's something to keep an eye on, but that reversal candle should start to take this pair lower, namely into support, which is first initial support is about the 100 mark, and then we have 99 down here. You can see we have about 99.75 is our next level. So these are going to be two things to watch out for: the euro yen 100 mark, and then 99.75 will be the other big one to keep an eye on. So look for opportunities to short down into that. Remember, we have a nice reversal candle, and we're starting to break this daily trend line right here, and this thing could really start to take off to the downside. So just be ready for that. Be aware of that. Remember, Australia has got news coming out, employment numbers, so that's going to get these things, this Aussie dollar moving. But one thing that the Aussie dollar has done very nicely is it's run up and just tested the 200-day moving average on the 1-hour chart. And again, a little bit of a reversal candle right here, and it's starting to come back down. We've got to get below this trend line and ultimately below about 10200 once again. But my whole view this entire time has been that that the euro yen is going to run at least into into the 50% fib, which is around 100.95. So, about 100 pips at least is what we're looking for a run, and even beyond. So I think we have a good chance of that. This is a pretty severe double top, so I can't imagine the Aussie dollar is going to be able to make too much of not paying attention to this and really just come back and and retest that high. I think the double top is really going to turn this pair down and keep it pushing lower. So looking to short the Aussie dollar. Again, watch daily pivots and so on, but we're just starting to break trend lines. We're bouncing off some of those levels. So our target again is about the 100.95-ish area on the Aussie dollar. And then the Aussie yen kind of doing the same thing, kind of coming down here, making its way lower. And we have a similar support level on the Aussie yen, which is around 79.85. So below 79.85, this thing gets pretty interesting. You can see that we had consolidation right here. This is always interesting when we see these kinds of candles. We had some consolidation right here, and we had some spikes up that were very unsubstantiated. And a couple of positive candles, but yet once again here we are in the negative. Attempts to close and fill this gap, which we still have open, which is not a huge one, but it's in existence. So we're going to be keeping our eye on that whole situation. But I think this Aussie yen's got a good chance to break and start running down again into some of these fib levels. You can see that so many of these pairs have some great fib levels to be watching. In Aussie yen, I think 7,900 is going to be the next one, and then obviously we have the 61.8% fib at 77.90. So all good areas to keep an eye on. I think it's probably time to start shorting these guys just a little bit and making a run for it. You can see that from this low to this high, we keep testing and consolidating below that 38% fib, and I think it's time it finally gives way and we start heading into that 50 and even potentially into that 61.8. Okay, so that's what we're looking for right now. And again, gold is staying weak, but we've got some Aussie news, so be very careful. And remember, euro pairs, euro dollar and euro yen should continue down nicely, and we should see some nice downside on this pair. So just keep an eye on that. Pound dollar's spiking around a little bit. We'll see what this thing ends up doing, but we're looking for all of these pairs to really start getting fairly bearish and start hitting some of those lower daily targets before the big rally happens and continues and so on. So be ready for that. Best of luck. More info coming out on Twitter and on the tweets, and we'll see you guys in the chat. Take care, everyone.